So in today's Cheeky Finance, I want to give a brief technical analysis on Bitcoin. I'm also gonna talk about how the global economy affects Bitcoin and why you should consider cryptocurrencies as an investment. I also want to talk about Brexit and how it's affecting the UK stocks and the pound. So if you're curious about this, just chill and keep watching. Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, and this is your host, the Cheeky Entrepreneur. So first of all, I want to start with the Bitcoin technical analysis. So from last week, I pointed out some resistance zones which were marked by the VPVR. So these trading ranges are from the 4.4 level and the 4K level here in the daily chart. And something I said is that whenever we break this resistance here before, we were likely to go down. And actually what happened is that we broke down, we retested this resistance zone, and then we headed back down. Now there's a lot of things that could happen. We could still go down to this range that I mark here, which is around the 3K level and the 2.4K level. And to be honest, it's probable that the price could fluctuate around this zone, but ultimately actually touch the 3K level, and it might bounce from there or it might not, but we will have to see the fundamentals and how they develop into the new year. I wanted to point something very big in here because we've seen that we have an actual bullish resistance over here forming in the daily time frame, and as I established before, the longer the time frame, the more relevance all these signs and all these formations have. So it wouldn't be really surprising if we actually had a relief from the price action and we actually went back up to test the maybe 4.5K level, 4.4, or definitely the 4K level. So going back to this trading range that we have around here. Also, another important thing to notice here in the daily chart is that we have the stochastic still coming from this overbought position, and this is a momentum indicator, and it only tells us that there might be more momentum to the downside. So I'm still waiting for this to deplete, and I know that it might bounce up, but again, we don't have enough support from fundamentals or from price action as of right now. And I don't want to spread thought. I don't want to say that Bitcoin is never gonna go up, because fact is that there is a lot of reasons why it should go up. But again, all this uncertainty, all this doubt, it's basically behavioral finance. And just quickly, I wanted to point out, if you remember the prediction about the shorts, I said that the shorts were actually gonna reach this 40K level or actually gonna go up. And we've seen that there was kind of a lot of sell-offs or a lot of buybacks from the shorts, but we didn't really see this reflected in the price. So I think there might still be a chance for the price to go down and for the shorts to actually increase again. And at this point, if that actually happens, I would be very tempted to actually go into the market, because we already have enough room for liquidation and to actually get back down in the shorts. And as I've told you before, all this liquidity only helps the price to actually buy back. So just to finish this technical analysis, I just want to go to the hourly chart, and I want to point out that we're actually in a big channel to the downside, and I've marked this line in the middle as the middle of the channel, and we've seen that the price has actually find kind of like a bottom. It bounced back to this channel, and it has been bouncing in this channel again, and it has not broke as of yet to the down part of the channel, but it's now retesting. And this is very important because this could be a strong level, and if we actually see a break from this, I would expect the price to dramatically go up, at least to bounce. So if I grab the Fibonacci retracement tool in here, at the very least this could go all the way to maybe 4K. We have here a 3,973, but my guess is it would be again trading over this range that I mentioned, the 4.4K level and the 4K level. But of course we always have the possibility of the opposite happening, and because of this possibility, I would assume that it could still bounce back down heavily into the range that I mentioned, which is the 3K to the 2.4k level, but again we will have to wait to see how the fundamentals behave, because we know that there's a lot of support from institutions and there's enough infrastructure to support institutional investments. So before talking about Brexit, I want to talk about the global economy and how this affects Bitcoin. So if you have some financial awareness, you will know about the credit cycles. So basically these are periods when the economy expands and contracts. So when the economy expands, usually there is low interest rates, and the reason is because money is less valuable. Central banks try to give more supply of money, they try to print more money in order to boost the economy. And therefore, because money is less valuable, you don't want to have it, you don't want to store it, and you want to invest it and to make it grow. On the other hand, we have this contraction scenario where central banks raise interest rates in order to make the money more valuable, in order to decrease debt. And what this does is that it increases the value of money, so people are less likely to invest, people are less likely to spend it, and therefore people keep this money. And usually when this happens, you can see that the stock market goes down and you can see that the overall economy starts shrinking. And now this is very important and it's very relevant to cryptocurrencies, because you should know by now that, for instance, Bitcoin has a fixed total supply and it has an algorithm that says how much Bitcoin is going out into the market and how much Bitcoin can be mined in a certain amount of time. And this is very important because intrinsically Bitcoin will earn value, because the other currencies will always be devaluing themselves because of this extra printing of currency. And at this point it's very important to know this, because we know that the level of debt is very high. We know that there is strong fundamentals against the global economy. We have, for instance, one of the biggest banks in Europe, Deutsche Bank, being accused of very important criminal activity. We have huge events just as Brexit. So this information is worth considering if you want to invest in cryptocurrencies, because you know that there is no problem in someone trying to print more Bitcoin. You know that there is no problem in someone inflating this economy. And a lot of people have the misconception that inflating the economy is only good, because everything has to be compensated. And the problem with just inflating an economy is that it's not sustainable, because in reality what's important is not the currency, what's important is the investment power that you have, the purchase power that you have with that money. So now I want to talk a little bit about Brexit and how that's actually affecting the UK stock market and the GBP in front of other currencies. And I don't really want to head into politics. I really want just to highlight how this is affecting the overall economy and how this is affecting the price action. So first of all, I just want to go into this news, which says Theresa May awaits results of Tories MPs confidence vote. And I'm just gonna read some things for you to know what this is about. So the first thing is that Theresa May is awaiting the result of a vote by Conservative MPs on whether they want to keep her as their leader. So here we can also see she faces a vote of confidence in her leadership after 48 Conservative MPs called for one to be held. And this only means that there's uncertainty about the party wanting her as the leader. And if we continue reading, we can see that she is understood to have promised not to call a snap general election and told MPs that in her heart she would have liked to have led them into the next scheduled election, partly because of what happened at the last year's election when she lost her majority. But she added, I realized that the party would like a different leader to take them into that election. And here I don't want you to focus really into what's really happening. I don't want you to focus into all this politics, but what I want you to focus is into the psychology. What I want you to focus is into what do you think about this? And again, here there's a bunch of questions in this article, and I'm just gonna read them, and I want you to think how you feel after I read them. Can she survive the confidence vote? What has Theresa May said? Will there be a new prime minister if she loses the vote? Who is trying to oust Mrs. May? Why are they trying to get rid of her? What does it mean for Brexit? So if you haven't noticed, this is all fear of uncertainty and doubt. No one knows what's happening. No one knows what's going to happen with Brexit. And something like this creates huge uncertainty about what's actually gonna happen with Brexit. If it's gonna be completed, if it's not gonna be completed, if actually the UK is gonna get out of Europe. No one really knows, and this is very important, and this vote of confidence could have a huge impact on the behavior of the investors and on the overall economy as well. So with this in consideration, I want to go back to the FTSE 100, which is the 100 most important companies in the UK. And what I've highlighted here is strong resistance points from the weekly chart, and I want to do a brief technical analysis on here because we know that we're actually currently testing this range. But all this thought and all this uncertainty could actually lead not only the UK stocks but also the global economy to go even further down. So if we look at the FTSE, if we break actually this trading zone, we could be actually heading towards the 6K level. So I'm just gonna measure that up from the highest high over here to see how much that would be of a retracement. So that would be at the very least 22% from the highest point. And we should be considering that it could actually trade the bottom part of that range, which would lie around minus 30% from the peak. And now again, it's very important to understand this because a lot of the times when there is not enough investors and when there's uncertainty and doubt, people are not buying, people are not investing, and the problem with that is that it ultimately affects companies. And we have seen from 2008 that if companies have more costs than revenue, they are likely to go bankrupt. And what happens when companies go bankrupt? Usually the government stands up and they buy back. And what we have seen is that the best way to actually buy back is by printing more money. So ultimately this leads to more inflation. In any case, I want also to do a brief technical analysis on the GBP USD, and this is again the weekly chart, and we have been seeing that after Brexit we have broken a key support here close to this 1.45 and 1.3938 high 40s trading range, and we broke that here around when Brexit happened. And we saw the price of the pound just depleting towards this level, and this level was at 1.2. From there we actually saw a recovery, and we saw this trading range in this channel correcting the price from actually this dump. And something that again that it's worth mentioning is that we actually had a bearish divergence over here. We had the RSI going down and we have the price kind of going up. And at this resistance point, it was key to see that the price might actually dump again. And this is what we saw, and with the increased thought and uncertainty, we still keep looking at the price going down. And it wouldn't be surprising if the pound actually retests the 1.2 level. And fundamentally, it's gonna be very important to see whether Brexit is a success, Brexit happens, or it doesn't happen at all, because all this could lead to not only retesting this level, but to actually breaking it down. Well, anyways guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video. It was a very packed video with lots of information, but I think it's very important to have a more global economy, a more broad perspective about finance in general in this channel. If you liked the video, and only if you did, mind subscribing and also push that like button. You know that I am active in other social media. I've got an Instagram account and a Facebook page where I put all the highlights of my videos as well as some other posts on entrepreneurship. You can also join the conversation by joining into the Discord, and that's the place where I'm gonna be basically just talking with the community and just talking with you guys. So if you have any questions, I would totally recommend you to download Discord and head to that server. But in any case, just before I go, I would like to remind you as usual, stay smart, stay bold, but most important of all, stay cheeky. Take care.